Hey, welcome everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Mary, Mike, Curtis, how are you all?
Hello, Grizz.
All right. I'm trying to get my camera back up here. Might take me a minute.
Oh, Lord. Well, Curtis is dicking around with whatever he's doing. So, anything new with you, Mike?
Not too much. I've got. I want to say something though about this Bigfoot community, because Martin is on the chat already, camping with Sasquatch. But a couple of weeks ago, it's been a few weeks since we had a show, and a couple of weeks ago the storms came through a lot of the heartland, including my city, Cape Girardeau. I had tornado come through about 2 miles to the south of me on a Wednesday night, then about 2 miles to the north of me on a Friday night. And Martin and a bunch of other just Bigfoot acquaintances throughout the country checked in. Hey, I see you're getting the tornado, everything okay, blah, blah, blah. And I think that's just wonderful that they did that. And it really just impressed me about the quality of people that are out here doing this stuff. A lot of the world thinks we're a bunch of kooks, but really we're just a bunch of super individuals that are out, trying to learn more about the truth and so forth. And the only other thing I'll say is Tom Cantrell's new book is out. It's available on Amazon, and his website is called Sasquatch America. I think I sent you a link, Grizzly, and what the cover looked like. And that's a sequel to his book that he wrote a couple years ago, Sasquatch Face to Face, where he had about 20, 30 people give their encounters of what it was like to have a face-to-face meeting with Sasquatch for the first time. And this is a similar type book, and it includes a submission from me. I've got a chapter in there. And I also was honored to write the foreword for the book. So I don't think anybody actually buys a book to read the foreword, but you might want to buy this book to read the foreword since I wrote it. So
right on.
So
awesome. What about you, Mary? What's going on with you lately?
Working. Pretty much.
Well,
That's all I do. Work.
We had a good show last hour, so very pleased with that. And Curtis, I have no idea what he went to. I guess he's camera shy right now for particular reasons. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, so somebody took me to Salt Fork, and hopefully Curtis, he's out there hollering. Little Twizzle says Curtis has chickens in his camera. So hopefully you heard that, Curtis. So, but anyways, we went up to Salt Fork, and hopefully when he comes on, he can tell you his side of the story. And as soon as we pulled up, it was already raining, and this is Salt Fork, Ohio. And I was like, "What was that?" And he's like, "What was that?" I was like, "I don't know. What was it?" Because you know how in the horror movies, it's always raining, and you can't see out the damn windshield because you're fogging it up. And something was coming up the hill in front of us. We don't know if it was a big doe, a big deer, but it didn't look like a deer. So we don't know what it was. So, but the activity was just off the wall. Hey, Rebecca, nice to see you. We had orbs, 30 to 40 foot up in the tree. Man, it was crazy. They were the green orbs, the blue orbs.
Green ones. Okay.
Yeah. And then we had the orangish reddish orbs.
Yeah.
It just, but what was weird though is some of them you can see with your naked eye, and some of them you have to see with the flare. There he is. Weird though is some of them you can see with your naked eye. You got your TV on?
Yeah.
There he is.
Turn your radio down. They started saying those talk
I got
shows.
So tell them about the orbs we were seeing.
No, it was crazy. From what you could see from the night sky and the top of the tree lines on the hill over from us, about a foot down from the top of the trees, had orbs flying back and forth all night.
Yeah, it was like a runway.
Yeah, it was like orange lights, white lights, red lights. It was crazy.
Yeah, it really was. And eye shine galore, didn't we? With the IR and the flare.
Definitely.
But you couldn't see the eye shine without the flare.
Okay.
Right.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
How far away do you think they were on the eye shine?
40 yards maybe.
Okay.
And the eye shine was approximately, this is just a guesstimate, probably I would say 9 to 10.5 foot off the ground. Do you think that's about right there, Curtis?
Yeah,
And they were huge. They weren't like little bitties. They were good size, weren't they, Curtis?
Oh yeah.
And
Did
what
you
was
tell them
wild is when they blinked.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
It wasn't like blink, blink. It was like, yeah, it was incredible. Now the good thing is that Trina and Renee was there, and they got it all on film.
Huh.
Everything. It's all recorded.
That's cool.
So, and then we had a tree trunk, and Ray's gonna laugh. We could have swore we had munchkins running out of it. Little leprechauns. Go ahead, laugh, Mary. Go ahead.
I was in the RV, so it couldn't have been me.
So what did that look like? The running out of what I mean.
Well, we had something laying on the tree, and Bill swore up and down it was a raccoon. But the raccoon that he alleged was laying on top of the tree with the flare looked like it stood up and jumped off of this big log. And we got to get the actual footage because this log looked like it was on fire from the inside out. And this was 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Pouring down rain.
Yeah, poured down rain. It looked like somebody poured gasoline inside this log and caught it on fire.
Wow.
And the next day, when we pointed the flare at the log, it wouldn't even show up on the flare.
No. And then the third day, there was a circle on the end of the log. It looked like a portal. But we weren't sure where it was or what it was. Because usually when you have dead trees laying on the ground, if you look at science, right? What grows on dead trees? Fungus.
Fungus. I'm going to say fungus.
Right. So that would hold heat, right? But when we inspected the log, there was no fungus or moss on it. So we don't understand why it would draw that much heat, because no other trees or anything around Salt Fork was drawing that.
And it was
Besides,
pouring down rain all day.
yeah,
Pouring down rain
Yeah.
all day.
Yeah, that's kind of.
we got growls. Yes, little people twisted. It really did look like a leprechaun, I swear to God. And I only got like not even 2 seconds of it, didn't I, Curtis?
Yep.
And we argued. Go ahead, Mary. It didn't look like a damn leprechaun, Mary. I'm telling you.
I know, I believe you. I was laughing at Rebecca's comment that she prefers munchkins without hair. It's all
Oh boy.
But I tell you this, they hung glow sticks up, right? And
Yeah.
we were up when you first pull up on the campground. We were up there by the gate. So where they say where he pulled his RV and everybody put their tent, they said this is the bleachers. And that's what they call the bleachers area, because they come out and they watch the campers.
Yeah.
Because there's hills and valleys, and there's a lake, a pond down over the hill. So, and they put glow sticks up, and whatever they did to do the glow sticks, it attracted whatever. It was fascinating, and they had the glow sticks shot up in the air. They did multicolors. They had one glow stick that was taken the first night. It was a blue one. It was taken off the tree in the middle of the night. They had a red one that was tossed across the road. I mean, this was we were all out. It was poured down raining. I mean, I was just sitting on the steps talking to Mary, and half this stuff was just going down, wasn't it, Curtis?
Yep.
Why's your camera off? Are you
I don't know. I'm
blushing?
trying to figure out how to get back on.
Oh my gosh, Mary.
Yeah, I'm nuts. I'm crazy.
But Mike, I mean, you would not believe it. I mean, once again, Salt Fork, Ohio, it was just nonstop.
Yeah, I need to get up there with you sometime.
You know,
Take some time off or something. But yeah, that's crazy, because that seems like the activity is just round the clock up there.
and it was, wasn't it, Curtis?
Yes, it was.
I mean, so it was the second or third night, and this is straight out of a horror film. Like, people are gonna die. You know, the women are screaming, Grizzly, perimeter check. I mean, they're screaming this. So, you know, I get my shoes on, I grab Curtis's keys, I jump in his car, and I take off at the other end of camp. And the women are screaming, Grizzly just left us. He just left us. He's gone. So, you know, I had to go to the outhouse. I'm sorry. You know, I couldn't hang around. So
You weren't gonna walk over there?
no, heck no, I'm not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm telling you, have you not watched the horror movies?
Yeah.
It's
I'm
saying I'm backstage.
Yeah.
You what?
I'm backstage.
You're on the thing. Your camera's turned off again. There you go.
Now, Curtis, don't touch anything. Touch it.
He just did. Look, he flipped it. But when I got back, they said that they heard growling outside the tent, and they heard something try to communicate, and it scared them that bad, and they were screaming because they wanted me to come out and check, because the RV in their tent was probably 7-8 yards, Curtis.
Yeah.
It wasn't far, but when I didn't know what was going on. I mean, I had a mission. It was the front door to that car to the outhouse. That was it. Everything else could wait. I'm sorry, Mike. But the women that made fun of me screaming in the tent last year when I got my tent broke and rubbed from that encounter, they said they do not. I'll put it to you this way. They understand, didn't they, Curtis?
Yeah.
They said they were never, ever so frightened in their life that they understand why I screamed at the top of my lungs like a woman. And they were being for real, and they would come on the show and testify.
I wish we'd have had that recorded though.
Oh yeah, right. Thank you.
When you screamed.
So what again?
Don't say it,
caused the
Mary.
scream?
Don't say it.
Grizzly,
What's
what
that,
caused the scream? What caused the scream again?
Who, me scream?
Yeah.
When that one pushed on my tent and I saw how big that hand was, and it wasn't a
Yeah.
human hand. That's what made me scream. Now, what made the
Perfect.
women scream is when something pushed on the
When-
tent and it was trying to talk and it wasn't human talk.
Right. Okay. Like the gibberish or whatever.
Right. And that's when they
It'd
were screaming
it would
Grizzly.
have been a
criminal.
perfect opportunity to do some serenading there, Grizz.
Mike, I had no time to serenade. I could have serenaded from the car all the way to the outhouse. I would be out there. I got to get the film a little twisted. It's crazy. And then, Mike, we caught something flying. I have no idea what I caught flying. Curtis, it's weird, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And it's not bats. No bats were out. No birds were out. I have no idea what it is. And I can't wait for Mary to see what it is.
Well, my next question. So
No, Leonard.
you left the tent to the car as it was out there with its hand on your tent. So
no, this was the girls' tent.
Okay.
Yeah, they were having an encounter when I walked out.
So how close were the two tents?
Well, no, it was one big tent, and it was probably 7 yards, 21, 30 feet, somewhere in that distance, 30 to 21 feet.
All right.
When I popped the door on the RV, click, whatever it was, I must have scared it because they were screaming perimeter check. I went straight to the car and drove off.
Oh, okay. So that was right. You're all right there in the vicinity while this is going down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Curtis was sleeping.
Curtis slept through the whole thing.
Yep.
it was. You know what's wild is that they got tracks. I don't know how Salt Fork, Ohio,
right,
produces this much. And Mary, I won't make you laugh, but I just don't understand how it is. Well, when it comes to the orbs, it was off the chart. You know, that Winston guy. I'm like, Winston, you're going to notice the difference between cars and an orb.
Right.
And in a few minutes, he was like, oh, yeah, you can tell it. He's like, what is that? I'm like, that's an orb. Watch it. And that's how long you could see the orb dancing across through the trees. And he sat there for like 10, 15 minutes amazed, wasn't he, Curtis?
Oh, yeah.
Because he never saw an orb before and how big and bright they were. It was like it was putting on a show for us nonstop.
Yeah. Incredible show.
Because all this time it's raining, pouring down rain.
Yeah.
Pouring down rain the entire time.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, and how they came up over the hill. You remember that one video where Sasquatch came up over the hill and took that candy bar and came back down? Remember that one footage, Mike, somebody had years ago on Facebook? YouTube?
Yeah.
We got one eye shine like that, didn't we, Curtis?
Yeah.
That one that came up over the hill, but one of them was standing up because the drop off over that hill was steep. I mean, as soon as you walk over that hill, it was 4 to 5, 6 foot deep.
Hey, did you tell them what happened when we first pulled in?
Yeah. We don't know what it was that walked up the hill on us.
And we were facing that.
You're headed?
Real steep drop. So whatever it was, come up that real steep drop and back down.
Yeah, we don't know. It was bigger than a deer. I know that much.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
And it wasn't the color of a deer. It was a whole lot darker.
Yeah.
But we couldn't say what it was because remember I told you it was like a horror movie. The window was getting fogged and it was raining real hard.
Yeah, that adds to the frightening and so forth, the rain and everything else.
But it was nonstop. Mary, what do you think about that?
What about the orbs? I think it's
Everything,
cool.
all the activity, especially
Well,
during the rain.
Just
Well,
nonstop.
believe it or not, the rain is actually, like they talk about in the spiritual realm and the like midnight time frame to 3-4 o'clock in the morning. When it rains, it actually brings spiritual activity. So yeah, it's probably why you were getting so much. It just has a tendency to, it's very nurturing. There's a lot of energy with the rain, and it's a very renewal type of energy. And so when it does that, it has a tendency to attract spiritual beings. So that's probably why it was even more than normal.
Huh. What do you think about that, Mike?
Don't know. I haven't experienced it, but as far as that and the rain is concerned, but something I'd have to look into. It definitely, it whatever is going on really heightened your activity, because normally when I'm camping and there's rain, there's nothing. There's no other activity. You're just out there in misery, and so the fact that you had the activity to go along with that, there's something going on there.
Well, I told Curtis, I'm like, there's going to be a lot of activity, didn't I, Curtis?
Yeah.
And I'm like, because when it rains, deer hunker down. You know that, Mike. They hunker down.
Well, even where I'm at, I'll always suggest that the Sasquatch probably have enough sense to get out of the rain. Here we are out in it. And it just generally, it's just that there's nothing, no activity at all if it is raining. Now, but for this, this to be taking place, I mean, but then, I mean, I don't think I've ever heard anybody not having activity at Salt Fork.
I know. It's just, you can't make it up. That's what's crazy. No. Kurt, you all got disembodied voices too, didn't you?
I can't remember.
Or is that Renee and Trina? They got.
I think it was Renee and Trina.
You said it was the ladies. You said it was the ladies earlier on the show.
Yeah, they did.
Got a hand and some chatter. Bigfoot.
Yeah,
Bigfoot
it's just insane. It really is. Some people left, but he had his RV down there, so it didn't matter if it thunderstormed.
Yeah.
Reception on the cell phone was spotty, wasn't it, Mary? Because of the weather, coming in and out. But other than that, it was never a dull moment. It was just like during the day it was kind of slow. I don't think we got anything during the day. I think it was all in the evening, wasn't it, Curtis?
Yeah.
I think that one time he went up to the food plot. They screamed. One of them yelled at the other end of the forest. That was pretty wild, Mike, to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when me and Josh was out there.
So
yep, crazy.
But I don't know. But I never thought about it like Mary said. I never really put it thinking that way. What do you think about that when Mary said that, Curtis?
I agree. I agree with it.
It sounds like there's something to it. That's for sure.
little twist that says there are any tracks. No, there wasn't. The leaf litter was so thick. Even my weight, I couldn't leave any tracks or any indentions. And even with all that rainwater, there's a lot of flooding down there. The police were through there quite frequently. The park rangers and somebody else too was up through there. So, but Renee and Trina got tracks down at Devil's something, Devil's Cave or Devil's Den.
Yeah,
I don't know.
can't remember the name of it.
So, but it was interesting. But I tell you what, glow sticks, good resource. So, glow sticks, absolutely. What do you think about glow sticks, Mary, and Bigfoot?
Well, I would want to go see what they are too if I was a Bigfoot. I mean, that's something that's kind of different. You know, they're probably not used to seeing bright neon colors. So, yeah, I would probably be attracted to it too. I think it's a good idea.
I had an experience one time with one of those cat balls. They call them cat balls, where upon contact and movement, they'll flash. You know, light up and flash at night, and cats play with them. I went over to my buddy Bill's when he lived over here in Madison County. He had a nighttime camp out, and you know, he's got his place, and then adjacent, you know, 30, 40 yards away is a little cabin, isolated cabin, where a lot of the people that go to his place in camp will stay in the cabin. And he had Sasquatch Theory out there. Adam from Half Inch Wrench Crew, we had him on the show here a while back, was out there. Actually, that was the first night I met Adam, and Bill said, come on over. I had to work late at school, and I got out there about 10 o'clock at night and just talked to the guys, met with them, and everybody's going to bed. And Bill said, why don't you just come in and stay in the house? And yeah, I was tired. I go in there in the front room, sleep in his recliner, and I get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I look out Bill's window, and it got the yard and then the tree line, and I see the glowing cat ball down in the woods, and it was red and blue like a police car siren, flashing light. And this thing is just going down. I'm sitting there thinking, what's going on down there? Is there an emergency down there? They got cops, ambulance. What is it? And I'm thinking there's no roads down there. That's Bill's yard. That's the woods. His property butts up with Mark Twain National Forest, and I sat there and watched that for the longest time, thinking, what is that? What is that? And I stepped outside to take a closer look. And the only thing else I could have done was walk down into the woods to see what it was. And I thought, I'm not going to do that. And you know, pitch dark and everything else. I didn't want to wake the other guys up. So I just went back in, went to bed. And then the next morning, Adam had left one of those cat balls out on the table. And the Sasquatch come picked the cat ball up, took it down in the woods. They were playing with it. And had I known that, I may have taken a closer look.
Uh-huh.
But it was the unknown that kept me. But a glow stick would have the same purpose. Something that's shiny, it's glowing, it's it's going to attract the attention, and it'd be something they'd play with.
Yeah, it was just fascinating. Just make sure, ladies and gentlemen, if you use glow sticks or anything, just make sure and pick them up before you leave the area.
Right.
Yeah.
Just a little disclaimer there. We did. We double checked the area.
Yeah.
But it was fascinating seeing because some of them lasted for 2 days, didn't they, Curtis?
Yeah.
But we had them all up on this ridge, and it was pretty fascinating because you could see them. You know, in wartime, you can see a lit cigarette a mile and a half away, right? So think how far you can see a glow stick or glow sticks.
Yeah.
So it was fascinating. That's for sure. Mary's smiling. What are you smiling for, Mary? We want to know. Inquiring minds want to know.
I'm just watching the comments and stuff and the funny comments, listening to you guys. That's all.
Rebecca's like, I was just thinking, I'd be worried that Bigfoot would try to eat the glow sticks. Oh my God, Rebecca, they're not Tide Pods.
Hey, we'd be able to find the scat, wouldn't we?
I was gonna say, yeah, you're below.
Yeah, they'd have more sense than that.
Make your all's jobs easy. There's some.
It's like anything else. It's you know, they'll smell it. This is not. They'll know it's nothing to eat. So, but
yeah, it was real neat to see him though. You know, and now Brian's like sweet and glow. But
yeah.
what was weird is like the after the first night that blue one got taken. That was interesting because we always hear the blue colored rocks, right, Mike?
Blue,
How many times
yes,
you heard that?
Well, and there's the blue and red light. What I saw that night is, they had the blue in it, but yeah, that's a if you had multiple colors, they take the blue first, they take the blue and leave the others. There's something to that.
No, Rebecca, these don't have the glass vials in them. Those are the old ones we grew up on when we were kids. These are plastic.
I was gonna say these are just like plastic, things you buy for party favors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
did you have any gifting going on for the time there, Grizzly? Or
oh no, man! Some
or
people are so afraid to gift. They say it's against the law.
Which is not.
Grizzly and somebody else looked up the law. I fought the law and the law won.
What,
Mary?
What are they considering against the law on the gifting?
They say it's baiting.
Okay, baiting for what?
Animals.
Okay, but
say it, Mary.
It's not against the law in Ohio to bait for animals.
Well,
yeah, like Rebecca says, do they not know this is the Outlaw family?
here's what a game warden, a Missouri Department of Conservation agent, texted me on a Monday morning a few years ago. Hey, Mike, was that you guys, part of your crew, camping up there this weekend? Yes, it was. I thought it might be. He said, he says, do me a favor. He says, we're getting close to deer season. So when you leave your apples out, he says, make sure you take them up before you leave so you're not baiting for deer. So what we would do is we'd go out there and we'd put up 24 apples out in the trees, 10 foot high. And then as we leave, we go check the apples. Half the apples would be gone. Half the apples would still be there. We'd leave the apples up in the tree. And then a buddy would go back a day or two later. The apples are gone. The rest of them are gone. And he tells me that. And I said, did you see apples this morning? He said, no, I didn't see him this morning, but I've seen him in the past. He goes, does his rounds, does his checking and stuff like that. I said, why is it considered? I said, it's deer. I said, we're not hunting deer. He said, but other people are hunting deer. And if you are baiting in a deer hunting area and somebody else shoots a deer in that area, because they got in Missouri, they got to quit baiting at a certain time before the season.
Right.
And he said, then you would be, I said, "Oh, I didn't realize that." I said, we'll start pulling the apples up." And I said, "Let me get this straight. You're okay with us baiting for Sasquatch. You just don't want us baiting for deer." His answer to me was, "Nobody is hunting Sasquatch."
Right.
So,
Yeah, I even checked it. It's okay to bait for research.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
state of Ohio, you can bait.
yeah. And then his next comment was, "And I still don't understand how you guys are camping out there in those flimsy tents, knowing those things are out there running around." That came from the Department of Conservation agent. I said, really, they're nice to us. They're really nice to us. So,
That's funny.
but
It really is. It's funny.
there's old Squatch and Holler in the comments.
Hey, Squatch and Holler, how you doing there, brother? But no, it really is, and it's fascinating place. And if you haven't gone, ladies and gentlemen, to Salt Fork, Ohio, you need to check it out. It's a fabulous place. Never a dull moment. Every time I'm gone, something's happened. It's just incredible.
And Salt Fork is known for Bigfoot.
That's what kills me. Everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
It's no secret. So, yeah, Mike, you gotta get up there. You do.
Yeah, that's gotta be a bucket list item.
Mary, so what do you think? The more and more you hear about Salt Fork and all the incidents and encounters.
I think it's cool. It doesn't scare me. I think it's neat.
Yeah, I'd welcome that. That's kind of cool. It's what you it's what you sign up for. It's what the who was it? And we had him on the program here with the orb and the spot down there by the Current River. Kings, Jim King and his granddaughter. Remember we had them on,
Mm-hmm.
Jansen and Jim. And first time he come out with us at night, one of those old Sasquatch hollered at probably about 75 yards, real loud howler, and he's like, "Do we need to leave now?" I said, "No, that's what we came out here for. This is what we want." So,
Yeah. Well, just like everybody, just like the people that go out and film, Greg Ogles and his staff, just like the women that were down there at Salt Fork that had the encounter with the gargling voice, and it was not human. Uh,
yeah.
until it happens to you, it's not the same. And then your reality changes. And everything is not kosher, I guess you could say, right? So, but Mary wants to go out there and pick blueberries with them. So, and hopefully I can film that one day. Look at her laughing. She'll actually do it, won't you?
Sure.
Oh, so you got any new plans, Mike, coming up?
I do. I got a camping trip set up with my buddy Bill Rummage and some others. First weekend of May. That'd just be in a couple weeks. Up in the Apple Creek area. Martin, if you're free, you're not camping anywhere, come over and join us. The June 21st, I believe, is a Saturday. June 21st, I'll be one of the presenters at the Big Muddy Monster Festival over in Murfreesboro, Illinois on that day. And that's the first time I'm ever doing anything like that. So I'm kind of excited about that.
Interesting. Rebecca wants to know, Mary, do you communicate with Bigfoots?
I don't know. Haven't been there yet. So once I get around them, maybe, hopefully, but we'll see.
Hopefully, I get all this on film. So that's the truth. Curtis,
Yeah.
you got anything coming up?
Oh, just next weekend, camp out with old Bear and Josh.
Yeah.
Other than that, nothing really.
I'm gonna be careful with Rebecca. She'll make Chuck Norris blush. Yeah, Leonard, you better tell Mary Leonard. I'm telling you. Yeah, Leonard's my attorney, Mary, a federal attorney. So, absolutely.
I'd like to make Chuck Norris blush. That's awesome. That's a good skill to have.
Yeah, right. Stanley Stone asked Mike, "Do you think they can go in between dimensions, Mike?"
I have no idea. I have not observed it. Other people say they have, and I'm gonna halfway take their word for it, and halfway want to see the evidence myself. I just don't know.
Interesting. Curtis, you have anything to add?
No, not really.
And Mary, do you have anything to add before we wrap up?
Mm-mm. No, I'm good.
And Mike, do you have anything to add before we wrap up?
I mentioned the camp out. I'll report on that. I mentioned the Big Muddy. Cantrell's new book, Sasquatch America, several story encounters, including mine. I contributed a chapter to it, wrote the foreword to it. So look for that on Amazon or Tom Cantrell's website.
And yes, we're going to test Mary's ovaries of steel, and we're going to document it. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. Anyways, from coast to coast, around the world, everybody, Godspeed. We love you all. From our family to
See you
yours.
guys.
We'll see you on the next show.
Okay.
Bye-bye.